trachea, and back behind it here, you can see the esophagus. Right here, let me separate it a little bit more. This is the esophagus. It's behind the trachea, and it's kind of a flattened muscular tube. You can follow the esophagus down. So this is it right here, the esophagus. And if you follow it down, you get to, and this is one of those things I really can't pin for the test, but where the stomach meets the esophagus right here, there's what's called the cardiac sphincter. Okay. And then here's the stomach. Now attached to the stomach, you can see this fatty membrane. This is called the greater omentum, and it sits like an apron over the top of his intestines. So if you have a lot of belly fat, you can blame this guy right here, okay, at least in part. So down at the bottom of the stomach where it meets the small intestine, this is where you find the pyloric sphincter. And then the first part of the small intestine where it meets the stomach, this is called the duodenum. And embedded on the back of the duodenum, you see this kind of looks like cottage cheese type stuff. This is actually the pancreas. So now when we go down in the intestines, we find all this middle part. It's not near the stomach, it's not near the large intestine. That's the jejunum. And holding it all together in bunches, you can see it kind of looks like a stained glass window. This is the mesentery. And when I let it go, you can see it kind of pulls everything together and keeps it in bunches. Now as you go further down, you get to the part of where the small intestine meets the large intestine here. Right here. This is called the ileum. And then the first part of the large intestine right here is the cecum. Let me see if I can unfold it where you can see. This is the cecum. And where they meet right here is the ileocecal valve. Okay. Now, the cecum is just kind of the first part of the small intestine. But when it starts to run sort of parallel to his spine right here, that's the colon. Sorry, my mouth is dry. And then where it gets really narrow down in here, this is the rectum. So now I'll go through the accessory organs. Now kind of on the cat's right side, just below the diaphragm, this is the liver. And sort of embedded in the liver here, you see this little green sac. That's the gallbladder. Okay. Now on the cat's left side here, you see this little guy that looks sort of like a tongue. This is the spleen, yeah. So let me just say this real quick because this cat has an extraordinarily healthy spleen. It's really small and very light and very squishy. But in some of the older cats that have had like parasitic infections, this spleen will be, this big, from, way bigger, and it'll be dark and hard. So just be familiar, it's going to be on the cat's left side. Sometimes it'll be cute and soft and healthy like this one. Sometimes it'll be big and bloated and hard like a rock, okay? But it'll be the only thing that's over on the left side of the cat. All right, and that's it.